What we're doing right now is we're setting up a poll for the currencies. So what we're currently doing is that I'm pulling my active currency, which is something that I will be correcting. And then for each one of my different rooms, we're checking to see if that room is online. And I should be able to do this a little bit more lightweight by doing it up here, like that. Because that's in a DTO. And then what I can do is I'm going to pull my room VM, and then I'm going to iterate through each one of my different currencies, evaluate if it's been updated yet, and if it hasn't, then we're going to update all of the users in the room. Do I have one too many of these? There we go. So now I'm going to give this a fire. Also, the other place where I'm doing this was in my chat hub. I have this one. So we'll fix that. And now I can give it a run. Everything is good there. Oh, I need to create an instance of that. So in my WebAPI project, I need to add right here a var, and it's going to be called a currency pool equals new currency pool. And this thing needs the OpenDJ radio services in it, so I should have I should be able to do this and then do a var OpenDJ radio service equals service provider dot get service of type OpenDJ radio services. And then this I should be able to do is a services.add singleton of my currency pool. Hey there, ObiJags. How are you doing? Thank you for that subscription. Very much appreciate that. Let's see here. Let's see if that's working. I appreciate the support there, buddy. If you have any questions of what I'm working on, make sure you pop them in the chat or you put them in the discord.pixelhorrorstudios.com. Let's see if that worked. Boom. Yeah, loving it. Okay, so our currency pool is here now. But what's interesting is that I don't have a timer which is running on it. So in my base poll, I should be setting my polling event args and start. So I've never started it yet. So you need to do a currency poll dot start, which is we'll say that it polls every 5 seconds. And now we can give it a run. Okay, so here we are. My room is online. We're going to read it, receive my room. We're going to get all my currencies, which should be 1. If my timestamp plus my time is from update is less than that now, then we're going to update. And here we go. Let's see what happens. So what I want to do is I'm going to first try to get my room. Did I already get that? Oh, but you're getting it right from the database this time. Okay, and then you're getting your number of connections. So now I'm going to look at my application user room currency. I don't think connections matter. because you only want to get it for the ones that are online. So you want to do a application users rooms connections where they're online. We want to select the application user room Is there like a distinct? And then I can do a dot select application user. And then we're going to have my application users distinct. And we'll need to check that one. So now if this is greater than that one, then we're going to find my application user. It's going to be a for each var application user room and application. Oh, wait a minute. And then you're getting the connections to see where they're online, which ones it is. And you're getting all of the application IDs where it matches. Well, let's go ahead and move this out. And I'm going to say that after I get my applications users rooms distinct here, this should just be one application user, right? And then this is an application user room currency, which is right. Just a second. So for each one of my application users rooms, first I want to get an unduplicated list of the application user rooms. That's been selected. Like that. This should really only ever be one. But it's okay, we'll let this ride. And then for each one of my application user rooms again, well, you could just do it like this. Well, this is just going to be a... You're getting all of the connections where they're online, and then you're getting one of the rooms distinct. And then it should be a first or default, asynchronous. Okay, so that's an online application room. And then what I want to do is, if my application user rooms is not equal to null, then we're going to get the currency, which will be equal to this application user room ID is equal to my roomonline.id and my currency ID. And if it's null, then we're going to create one. And if we don't currently have one, then I'm going to add it into my list. And then for each one of them, we're going to add and make a transaction here, add the transaction, and then save it, map it backwards, and return the VMs. Let's see what happens. School of the C# looks very similar to the newer ES6 JavaScript syntax. I see the fat arrow function, the async await keywords. Yeah, they're all blending together these days. Okay, here we go. We read the room. We get for each one of the currencies. I'm going to look in the room and see which, this should just be one, and it is. I really should do that as a list just to see. So we'll stop it so I can run it again. Okay. Wait for the poll. Good, it is just one. Oops, this needs to be this one. My bad. Get rid of that. Breakpoint. Okay, let's give that a run. And wait for the poll. Here it is. We should get no currency. It should make one. We add it to the list. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. I thought that this was going to make one big commit. Hold on. But then for each one of my application user rooms, then I'm adding the currency, the transaction, and then I'm saving. So it's like this. And then one more down. Yeah, like that, and then that, and then that. Let's try it again. Should make one, add it to the user currencies. Then we make the transaction, save the changes, and map everything back. And my VMs have one with no currency in it. Hey there, Dimitar1555. How are you doing? Welcome to the channel. If you have any questions, what I'm working on, don't hesitate to put them into the chat. We got an active and supportive community. Thank you for being a part. So the only thing that I'm bummed out about here is that currency is null. And that happened because my application users currencies, it's not loading that. So application user room currency here currency needs to be equal to currency. And we want to load that up here as a var currency equals await context.currencies.first or default asynchronous s, where my ID is equal to my currency ID. Like that. Give it another run. Okay. We're going to add the currencies there. Where's my evaluation for time? Oh, it's already been done. We add it, we save it, we look at my VMs here. Now I have a currency, pixels, weight, and a quantity. Now it should have updated my timestamp. So it's ticking too fast. It's time last updated. So if I look at this thing, this needs to be modifying the timestamp last updated. Which is in the view model for the currency. Timestamp last update is in currency VM. Okay. Are you right here? So this was getting passed from here. If my currency is already there, then we want to do and I don't have my. Interesting. I don't have a context on this, so it actually needs to happen in here. We need to do a currency.timestamp last update equals date time.utc now, and then we want to do a context.entry of my currency dot state is equal to modified, and we should be good now. That's okay. And then that's okay. Give it a run. Okay. We let it step through. Add the currency. Fire the polling event. Looks good. Let me go back here real quick. Yeah. Oh. What is this? For each application user room currency, add the transaction. Then we want to do a save changes asynchronous. Weird. Try that again. Okay, let this thing crank through here. Update all the records. It looks good. It saved everything. We let it run again. Now hold on here. My currency last updated needs to be evaluated. Timestamp last update is on currency, and you're evaluating that here. So we'll just let that do its thing here. What's my polling interval? 30 seconds? Okay, that one looked good. Why did it run twice? Because there's 2 rooms running. Yeah, so it's working now. And this currency poll should be doing per room and a currency with a number of transactions. But it should be by room. So you have a currency, you have an application currency room, and then you have the polling events here. So let me look at my currency poll event args because we want to know for the room, right? So on this, you can have a prop room DTO called a room. And then you'll have a quantity with the user with a currency for each one of them and their transactions, which ideally I don't want. So let me just scrap those and rebuild. Okay, looks good. And now when I run this, I have this event which is firing by room. And I can inject that into my hub. So I should be able to do a Where did I put it? It's a BLL called currency pool. Needs to have an interface on it. Guess not. So I guess we just register a currency pool. And so now when we get this, and now we'll do a currency poll dot polling event plus equals to on currency poll event. And then in my dispose, this is an override. And you want to do a base.dispose after we do this. If my currency poll does not equal to null, then we want to get rid of this. Or I can't override it. That's great. I gotta love that. Well, whatever. So all we're gonna do here is we're gonna broadcast out to the hub something called a clients.all. So what I do is a for each, and then it's going to be my args.application users rooms currencies. And then what I want to do is I want to get my application user room currency. This should have on it an application user room with the application user room on it with the ID. Application user room equals await my service dot services dot read application user room asynchronous of this GUID. This needs to be a protected asynchronous task, which needs to be an asynchronous S and an E, which passes in this await of my S and my E. So it's an anonymous method. And now what I want to do is my var connections equals await Now wait a second. I can actually, because I have a context.connection ID, I can just do a await my services dot read application user room by the, no, application user connection by my context.connection ID. Okay. This should also include a room. So now I can do a if my args dot room dot ID is equal to my connection dot So if there's any application user room ID which is equal to my connection dot application user room dot ID, then I can do a var application user room currency is equal to this, and we want to get the first one where my s dot I application user ID dot ID is equal to connection dot application user ID dot ID. And now that I have this, I should be able to report on it and do a clients dot client to my context dot connection ID, and then I want to do a send asynchronous, and this is going to be my currency. So this is going to be receive currency, and I want to pass in my application user room currency. And we'll do that as an await. Now, in your currency pool, you're adding it to each of the application user rooms which are online. Oh, for the connections that are online. Okay, that works. So we need to have a ping service in here, but the next one is this receive currency, which we need to have in my hub context, and we want to have a this dot hub connection dot receive application user room currency. And this is going to be a application user room currency, which is an I application user room currency. So if I look at this, interface I application user room currency is going to have in it a quantity, which is a number, a application user room, which is an I application user room, and a currency, which is an I currency. And this up here needs to have a application user room currency received, which is an I application user room currency, which needs to be a get application user room currency, which is going to be a application user room currency, and it's going to be an application user room currency as observable. And now finally, on my main component for room, I want this to say before any of this, I just want it to be a div, and I want this to be currency. And then I'm going to add in here we have a currency type here, but I also need to have a application user room currency, which is an application user room currency. So like that, with a quantity, and then a currency dot currency name. And we'll do that as a span. So in my room component, I need to have a application user room currency subscription, which is a subscription. And here we need to have a this dot application user equals this dot hub service dot get application user room currency dot subscribe. And this is going to be my application user room currency is equal to, oops, and then we'll do a lambda, and then it's going to be this dot application user room currency equals this. And then finally we need to do a on my destroy this dot that dot unsubscribe. We can go ahead and try it out now. When I disconnect and I log back in, it says currency now, and I'm waiting for it to update, and I should get this pushed right back out across the pipe. So we're sure, we'll do a console.log of my application user room currency. Let's try it again. Wait for it to fire. Cannot read property quantity of undefined, I know. Cannot access a disposed object. Where is it accessing a disposed object? I definitely didn't see where it was accessing a disposed object. Let's try that again. Okay, it's firing my polling event. That worked fine. Object not set to a reference, it says. So in my chat hub, I want to go ahead and try this again and log out and log back in. And now, for each one of my contexts, I'm going to try to get the connection, which in my case is not no. So the problem here is that you don't necessarily have every connection in here. So if my connection is equal to null, then I want to do this. If it does not equal to null, let's run it again. Try it again, see what happens. Huh? What was the disposed object? Polling event in base poll. Somewhere it disposed my object. Which context? You think my context is disposed? That would make sense. No, it's not the database context, it's the SignalR context. Watch, now it'll work. Wait for it to tick. Okay. Yeah, see, it's definitely the SignalR context. So what that means is that we need to do this a little differently, and I need to have a ping service get the connections out of the database that match the room. So here I want to do await my services.read connections. What? This is just for one. What's this? Interesting. This is just returning one. Okay. And instead, I want to return all of these things by my room ID. Return application, users, rooms, connections of my room ID. Hey, Alkamin, how are you doing? Welcome to the channel. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to pop them into the chat. And this one here is going to be a rooms connections dot where my s dot room ID. Ooh. You want to include the application user room where my room ID is equal to room ID and the s dot is active and the s dot application user room dot is active. And this is going to be called your connections. And this is going to be a to-list asynchronous. And then here, if you want to do a, these are going to be DTO. Oh no, these are VMs like that. And now you want to do a VMs equals a new list of application user room connection VM. You'll do a connections dot for each s where you do a VMs dot add the mapper dot map to a connection application user room connection VM of my s. And then you want to return my VMs dot to array. I'll add it in here. Like that, okay? So now you're going to get this for my args.room.id. And this is going to be var connections. And then it's going to be for each var connection in connections. I want to do a try. And all I'm going to do is send this if my args of my currencies does contain that, then we want to get my currency and we'll send it. Now it should work. And what we're hoping is that we get broadcasting in real time. Try that again. Okay, it's running. We'll reconnect. Let it tick. For each connection, it's going to try to send it. Looks good. Looks very good. And now I saw it here. I see it getting passed back as a piece of JSON. Wait for the next update. Takes 30 seconds. Or did this get held up? I don't see it running. Where is this breaking? Just a second. Because it's almost like this. Oh, there it is. Okay, so let's fix this. So if I look in the front end at where I'm doing this currency, I really just want to have a application user room currency should be a string. And then this one, I can do this as a quantity. So this will be called a quantity. As a string. Okay. Okay, so we'll log out. We'll log back in. It connected me to the WebSocket. It still doesn't like quantity here. Just that. Can't read that of undefined, it says. So also in here, I want to have one for a currency name. Oops, no, we do need that one, and we do need that there. Okay. We'll log out. We'll log back in. Currency name of undefined. Did I forget to change the HTML? Yeah. Log out. Log in. Okay, this time we want to send request room. Wasn't happy. So the back end's not running. Run that again. Send data if it's not in the connected state. What's going on here? Okay, it's connected. YouTube component is not a function, it says. It's got pixels now. So the only thing I'm waiting on is the post. It's trying to broadcast to all of them, but I don't have a ping service running, so I don't know if it's actually ever going to hit my connection. The pixels came in. Just looking for the post. So in this one, dot where my s dot is online. And if you can't do this, you want to do an await services dot update connection or remove you do have a delete connection. So if I look at this, we want to have an update. Like that. Application user room connection update request. And that's all it's going to have in it, is a base update request. And this is an update application user connection asynchronous. With one of these requests, which has the ping been sent is going to be equal to my connection dot has ping been sent, is online is equal to false, and the ID is equal to my connection dot ID. Receive application user currency. receive application user room currency right here. And we'll just have a little alert box this time. Give it a run. Make sure the back end's running. Update application user room connection. Like that with a update here. When we do this one, we want to look at like this. And we can just copy it because it's pretty much the same thing. We'll take the entity here of the applications, users, connections. You want to get the one that matches that, and then you're going to do your is online, has ping been sent. And then we just do this read application user room connection asynchronous. Like that. So if I look at this one, when the update, it needs to be connection. And down here, if we don't get it, we need to do a return null. And we'll run the back end. Check the front end. It's receive pixels. It's going to tell me right now there's nothing in the queue. I'm waiting for it to fire on my polling event. You can see it's working pretty hard in the background as it's trying to figure out all those different connections. I really need to go clean that up in the database, all of the different ones. You can see it's still working really hard. As it's updating all of my different connections here that I've been putting into the database over time as I've been building this. Well, we're real close to getting it to broadcast. I think I need to add a ping service next. So if I went to here and then did this, all right. Well, I'm out of time for the day. Well, not for the day, just for the morning. I'm going to go eat some lunch. I'll be back here in probably about an hour and 20 minutes. So it's 12:40 now, so that'll be 2 p.m. exactly is when I'll be back. So thanks again for staying with me today. I'll see you guys in just a couple of hours. Enjoy your break, and yeah, yeah, I'll see you guys in a little bit. Thanks so much for staying with me. Have a great rest of your morning. See you in just a couple of hours. Bye.